My name is Joel Biermann. I teach systematic theology at Concordia Seminary here in St. Louis. And you're going to be looking at some of the video work and some of the studies I did on three topics that I think are kind of significant on getting a good handle on what it actually means to live out a life of stewardship. And they're all grounded in what I think to be the critical text in the Old Testament from Genesis 1:28, where God says, "Therefore be fruitful and multiply and have dominion, subdue the creation." In other words, as God's creatures, we are bound and have a responsibility to the rest of the creation, which puts us in a sense of responsibility and oversight. Now, in that context, we can think about some very specific things, like our money, and the whole question about what we're supposed to do with our money. The question of tithing comes into play. And if we understand our gifts given to us as part of our responsibility to that wider culture, I think it puts money into a different context. And then we're going to talk about maybe a surprising one, evangelism. I'm convinced that if we understand our responsibility to the wider creation, especially other creatures, then we understand that evangelism is actually part of our responsibility, part of our stewardship. It's part of the vocation we carry out for the sake of others. And it's not just a gospel thing, but more on that later. And then finally, there's one last topic, which is vocation itself. In other words, living out this life that God has given us and helping our people and ourselves see all of life, including father and husband and mother and daughter, all in the context of what God has given us to do for the sake of others. So, I hope that as you think about what it means to be a steward of God's gifts, these topics will help you zero in a little more on actually applying it in the context of parish. God's blessings on your work and on your study, and most importantly, your service to God's people.